What's up, my friends? So I am all sitting here hanging out in my office, and I decided to hop on here and share this. I have a really exciting podcast episode coming out this week. I'm not sure the exact date. I should know, but it's coming out soon, and it's all about trusting yourself. But there's so much I could have shared in that episode. I could have kept going and going and going, and I just want to share a little bit here because I was just on my Instagram. I was just chatting with someone. They shared that they want to write a book, that they're being called to share their story. I know that there are people that are being called to start relationships, to leave relationships, to start new routines, habits, all the things. And you may be feeling some things, especially because we're in this intentional time of the year, which is a new year. We're naturally asking what didn't work last year, what works this year, where do we want to go, what are our goals, what are our intentions. And it's healthy to do all those things. I'm not with this whole thing of have no resolution. You want no resolve? I like to have resolve. And I think that it's important to just be intentional about all the things, right? So let's talk about this. Being truly available for your soul's guidance. Now, the reason I really want to bring this up for you is because you are not going to hear the nudges. We're not going to notice the signs. We're not going to notice how people are entering in our life and saying certain things, or how our body is responding to certain situations, if we are so caught up in our head with the drama, with the noise that's going on up here, right? If you're constantly replaying everything that you didn't like from yesterday, or everything that pissed you off about December, or everything that everyone has said wrong about you in the past decade, and you can't focus on what's right, you're not willing to give yourself that new habit of focusing on what could be good for you, you are going to totally miss out. You're not truly available for the signals and the signs. Now, what do I mean by a signal and a sign? So you hear about this term nudges, right? Hi, friends. If you're on here, say hello so that I know who's on here with me. You hear this term, the nudges. And some people are like, well, how do I know if it's my intuition or if it's just my fear or just my ego? How will I really know, right? I'm thinking of Whitney Houston songs in my head. How will I know? How will you know? You learn by having more and more discernment. And how do you have more and more discernment? It's that thing that some of you don't like. Hi, Gustavo. Some of you don't like this, but it's by being more still. Practicing more pauses in your day. I don't know what's going on with my hair, guys. Just go with it. Practicing more pauses in your day and ask questions about the feelings that are coming up for you rather than numbing over them, calling someone over them, eating over them, or going out into the world and wanting to avoid by just staying busy all the time, right? And what's one way that we stay busy? Scrolling, right? Filling up our time with other people's lives, getting out of our own lane. Our own lane is always going to be fruitful for us, right? But what happens is we leave our lane and we go out of alignment. I talk all about that on my podcast. You'll have to listen to it when it comes out this week. When we're out of alignment, we feel things like anxiety, frustration, depression. We feel like there's a red flag happening in our world. And sometimes that can be happening for a long time because you're in a maybe long-time relationship or a longer-term job, or there's some sort of dynamic that's going on in your household that does not feel good for you. But you've said yes, that this is normal. You've become, into this pattern. You've become so used to it that it's just, you say it's just your life. When we're caught up in that, things become heavy, they become murky, they become a little bit more stagnant. And when things are stagnant like that, we are kind of having a harder time listening to what am I being guided to do right now. So the first thing we have to do is get really honest with ourselves. Do I feel like I am out of alignment right now? What does it feel like to be in alignment? Being in alignment feels like you're on the right path. You are doing the right step right now, and you are focused on the right things right now. You are choosing to honor your potential in this moment. You're choosing to honor what's real for you in this moment. It can feel like a lot of things, right? But most of all, I feel like it feels like harmony. It feels like peace. It feels like I'm at the right place at the right time. Now, even if things are shit right now, you can come to that agreement with yourself. You can say, I'm at the right place at the right time to make a change, right? Even if you don't like where you're at, even if you want to be somewhere else, or you're like, I want to have more money. I want to have a different lifestyle. I want to be in a different relationship. I want to have more friends. I want to start my business. The key is you have to start right here, right now, and just get to that space of, I'm willing to be in alignment. I'm willing to be. And if you're willing to be in alignment, that is the opener, right? This opens you up. It opens you up to, I'm willing. That's the prayer. I'm willing to be in alignment. So let's get back into this, right? So when you're in alignment, you know by how it feels. You feel good. If you get out of alignment, you've come out of your lane for some moment. Maybe someone's crossed the boundary. You've allowed someone to cross the boundary. You didn't speak up. You've said yes to something that means that you're abandoning yourself. It's not something you really wanted to do. It's not something that you really wanted to experience. It's not something you really wanted to participate in, but you still said yes. And there's going to be these signals that you've gone out of alignment because you'll know because it feels frustrating or just, depleted or something's there. So what do we do to start asking the question, to start trusting and hearing the signals? Karen says she's willing. Hi, Maximilian. And hi, Erica. Hi, Taya. Hi, everybody. So if you're willing, you'll start noticing the signs. Like I said earlier in this, if you are busy focusing about what's wrong, what's not working, what doesn't seem to be present, you're missing out on what's present. You're missing out on the signals. You're missing out on the signs. What would life look like for you if you had this belief? I have this belief. I had to develop it. It was not a natural born thing or maybe it was naturally born, but I'll tell you, I was domesticated out of it. Okay? It went away with my childhood baby. The pattern that I want you to develop, because I know that it will just change your life so much, is if you start asking yourself and expecting, what am I being signaled right now? What are the signs here right now for me? And if you believe that every day of every moment that you are being signaled, there's a signal happening. Like you are being signaled. Everything has a sign in it. Everything in your field, meaning in your awareness, comes to teach you something. It's either teaching you more about what you like, or it's teaching you about what you don't like. Preferences are being born. But if we're so here, or so back there, stuck in the past, or so stuck on what's frustrating and we don't like, we miss out. We miss out. So when we have this openness about us, our heart is open, we let down our armor and we begin to ask a different question. Life opens up for us. It shows us, it shares the secrets with us. And the secrets are every moment you're being guided. So I want to talk about this for a moment. Right before we hit midnight on New Year's Eve, I had a little audible signal that came through, right? And it was interesting because I guess I've been praying about it in my feelings and in my desires. Like our feelings are a prayer. If we're feeling, I'm ready for something else, I'm ready for my next step, I'm ready for this thing, you could pray about that, or you can feel it and be intentional that you're willing. And that's also a prayer. So I've been praying about this because I was just like, am I right about this or am I wrong about this? Am I right about this or am I wrong about this? And there was some flip-floppy energy of it around for me the last 2 weeks of December, because there were people that were coming into my world that I cared about and I wanted to care about, but at the same time it felt very depleting. And I was like, but I want to support, but this is feeling this way. And I was going back and forth. And I also did the same thing with my travel, where I was feeling like this could deplete me, but should I cancel it? And I ended up canceling flights and doing all the things. But there was this flip-floppy energy, and I was like, I don't really feel that often. When I'm feeling it, that's interesting. And I was sitting with it. Right before midnight, what came through for me, and this is something I've heard before, if you've listened to my podcast, if you've been in my world, you've heard it before, but I'm going to share it with you again because it came with like a new layer. It came with a new layer, and it felt like a pop, like a breakthrough of some sort. And the thing that I heard was, you can trust what you feel. It's safe to trust what you feel. You don't have to understand it. So hear me out. There are times when you are in dynamics. It could be in a restaurant. It could be on a first date. It could be with someone you're getting to know, like in a friendship. It could be in a group or a circle, a mastermind. It could be you just walking into any space, anytime. It could be a client that's reaching out to you and trying to ask you questions about working with you, and you're like, I'm just getting a feeling this doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like my highest and best. When we get these feelings, sometimes it can, what's the word I'm looking for? Interfere. It can interfere with what our ego wants. For instance, let's use the client example. Now, if somebody's reaching out to you and they're asking you all these questions, like, I want to join your program, but it feels like a hassle even having there's like 500 questions and they're wanting so much, and you feel like it's crossed the boundary or you're unwilling to give more, right? This is just an example. You get to play with that and decide what feels good or what doesn't. But there's a conflict here, because your ego will say, let's make more money. I want to hit my goal. I want the client. I'm going after this thing. I want to hit my $100,000 year, my first $1 million year. Why would I turn down a client? But your heart and your body is saying, this doesn't feel aligned. This doesn't feel aligned. So in this time, we get to have the faith and the trust in what our body is saying. Our body is our subconscious mind. If your body's saying no, but your ego's saying you should do it because more is better. This is where you, A, develop discernment, A, can choose faith, or B, you stay out of alignment and cause more suffering for yourself. Now, we are all here in this course called life, and we keep getting better and better and better at it. But I'll tell you, it takes some practice till you start learning. I should have trusted that sign. I should have did that thing. So I want to tell you a quick story about this. I remember in September, I had a client, 2 clients actually, that came my way, and they hired me for business consulting, spiritual business consulting. It was $5,000 for 4 calls, easy peasy. That's it. It was great. But then I found out one of the women had copied my sales page for my meditation retreat. Literally, I went to go see what they were up to after they paid me a deposit, and I saw that they copied word for word. Now, my ego was pissed off. My ego was also like, let them pay you. One of them stole from you. Let them just pay you, and let it teach them. Have a conversation about integrity. But my soul was like, I have no tolerance for this bullshit. I have no tolerance. I don't want this in my space. This isn't a safe space for me. It's not going to be a safe space for them, because I'm feeling these things and they violated my trust. So going back and forth with this, what I decided was that I was going to let go of the other $4,000 that they didn't pay yet and just trust that it was going to come my way. And one of my friends was like, Nicole, there's going to be $40,000 that comes your way ASAP now, because you let go of money that's not in integrity. And I was like, yes. That was my first month. The next few weeks, I had my first $100,000 month, because I decided I'm only available for things that are alignment. I'm only available for money that's in integrity, clients that feel good to me. And I've gotten better and better and better at this. But this is the same thing with dating. This is the same thing with friends that come in my life, people that are coming into my world. This is definitely the same thing with clients. I'm getting better and better. I trust the money always comes from the places that feel good. We have to let life guide us and show us. It's not guiding us to less. And this is what we really have to know. Your spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it, the universe, your guides are guiding you into harmony. And you'll know your path because it feels like peace. Now, know this. Feeling peace doesn't mean that you're not going to be required to have uncomfortable emotional risk, like being vulnerable, making videos, doing things in your business you don't like, or that you're unsure of yet, going on a first date, or having an uncomfortable conversation with someone that you need to get really clear with. There's going to be emotional risk. There's going to be financial risk sometimes, right? Like you deciding, I deserve this. I'm going to drop $5,000 on this. I deserve this. I'm going to invest in this course. You have to make those decisions. It doesn't mean that you won't still feel peace beneath that. And here's what I mean by that. When I say you'll know your path because it feels like peace, there's a knowing that even though this is scary, I'm meant to do this. Even though this is scary, it feels like the right next step. Even though that this kind of freaks me out, there's something that feels so good about it that I just know it's for me. And these are all the things that I'm talking about where we get to deepen into our discernment. Now, going back to the ideas of signals and signs and being able to trust, we have to settle down our mind. You know that I'm a fan of meditation. I know that lots of people aren't because we don't like to sit still, right? Like even me, I'm like, what's happening on my phone? Maybe I should order that thing. Maybe I should buy this thing that I've been thinking about. Like we live in a distracted way of life, most of us. And that being said, there's such a beautiful practice of being able to settle yourself down and just be like, you know what, let me just straighten up for a moment and settle myself down. While you're listening, practice that for a moment. Don't worry, I'm not taking you into a meditation, but just settle yourself up. Maybe if you're laying down or maybe you're just like totally unconscious and you're here and you're half drooling. Like get up for a moment and just settle yourself down by just giving yourself permission to be completely still. And you get better at this and better at this and better at this. And this is the thing that you really want to be good at if you're learning to listen for your next best steps. Because there's your next best safe steps. Like if you're trying to play it safe, Spirit knows that too. You're not going to get the big next step. I always say that the path will be revealed for the willing. And if you are not willing, you're not going to see the path. The vision is given to those who are willing to actually bring it to life. And there are people that are like, why can't I find my purpose? Why can't I figure this out? Why can't I find the clients? How willing are you? Because every time I get really willing and I start to get in that space of embodied willingness, wow, I get the signal. The thing shows up. The teacher shows up. The friend shows up. The client shows up. The things happen. And this is what it's about. So going back to settling your body, let's practice it again. Drop into settling your body and just practice. Say it out loud to yourself. Let's settle down now. I give my body permission to be still. And take a deep breath into that. Take a deep breath. You can close your eyes. You can keep your eyes open. Whatever feels good for you. For me, when I close my eyes, it just helps me take away that external world. Because when you close your eyes, what you realize, you have a whole internal world working simultaneously. You have visions happening within. You have beliefs that are happening within. And all of that is changing and really dictating what you see externally, which is fascinating and profound and also cool because we can change it. So settling your body down and just notice if any part of your body does not want to settle down. Maybe you have a foot that just keeps on twitching. Maybe you just are like squirming, right? In your seat. You just are like, maybe you drank too much coffee this evening. So just settling down. Now I want you to bring the belly into this by breathing into your belly. And really just breathing there to make space. So your belly is your self-worth center. It's also your willingness center. It's your willpower. So bringing your attention, bringing your breath into your belly and giving yourself that same permission that it's safe to be still. It's safe to settle down. So much of how we move about in our day-to-day is unconscious patterns. And a lot of them are based on survival mode. A lot of them are based on not having enough, not being enough, not doing enough. And when we're in that space, we're missing out on the most profound signals that are coming about. I mean signals that are coming about, like the thing that you've been praying for shows up in your field, but it doesn't look the way that you thought it would look. Maybe it's not as direct as you thought it would be, but it's here and it's inviting you in. So this is really beautiful because this is how I live my life now. And whenever I fall out of alignment, because please friends, know this, I am human and I fall out of alignment and get out of my lane too. But guess what? Every time I get out of my lane, every time I fall out of alignment, every time I go over there and think that I need something or I've listened to what my ego says, every time I come back, I have more wisdom. Every time I come back, I'm stronger and I have more spiritual stamina. And this is the same for you. So our path is not one of perfection because we're human and we're flawed. We are here to do the work. We are here to walk the path. We are here to really actually do the things, right? Not just read them in books and listen to them on videos and think that they're great theories to bring up at dinner with someone. No, we actually got to do the work. So I want you to tune into where you may be looking for something and expecting it to look a certain way. You may think that you already know the how. Anytime you think you already know the how, like for instance, you're trying to calculate how all your money is going to come in your new business, or you're trying to calculate how your love is going to come through, or you're trying to calculate when you're going to get pregnant. Anytime that you're doing these things, you are trying to micromanage God. You're trying to micromanage the divine. And when you do that, you've fallen out of alignment. Because being in an absolute state of alignment is finding a peace and contentment and excitement and curiosity about life's delivery of your miracles, while also fully embracing and enjoying what's going on right here and now, which is a lot of magical stuff, which is a lot of cool stuff. And even in the times, I'll tell you, when it doesn't feel good, when it doesn't feel magical, when it actually feels like crap, some of these times are the times where the greatest work is unfolding. I'll tell you that, because every time I go through like a valley and it's feeling kind of dark, or I'm like, what's happening? I don't feel like working. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like being around the humans. That's the cocoon. That's the cocoon for your miracle. There's miracles that are brewing in there. There's things that are being brought to the surface. It's really profound. You're like a seed and you're about to sprout. So don't dismiss or deny any of it, but know that you get to make choices. And even in those times where whether you're at a valley or a peak, look for the signs and ask for the signals. Ask, I'm willing to be guided. I let go of my way. I know that the universe has a way that is far greater than my way, and I'm willing to know it. I'm willing to see it. I'm open-hearted, open-minded. I open my eyes now and see a new world. Show me. If you live this way, your life changes. It changes everything. And this is actually how I do business. You know, I do business in this way because it works for me. And I really feel like we're all moving this way. You see it. There's more and more people that were like hardcore business, hardcore linear thinkers, hardcore thinking this way, like this path and the perfect strategy. I always say spirit is my strategist. And you know what? Now other people are starting to live this way more and more and more. There's something to this. There's something to this. And here's why. The strategy working for me is not going to be the strategy that works for you. There might be little tidbits. There might be wisdom and guidance and things that you can be inspired by, things that become alchemist like moments for you, because you're like, oh, well, Nicole did that. Nicole said that. And that really spoke to me. And then you start asking a different question. That's how this works. But there's no true blueprint. Your soul has a blueprint. God has a blueprint for you. And that blueprint requires you to listen, right? The most profound teachers, the most profound creators, they didn't do it by buying anyone else's plan. They did it by honoring their plan. Now, they had counsel, they had mentors, they had people that inspired them. They circled up with the people that were doing the things, but they honored and trusted what was real for them. And this is where you have to learn that. And this is the kind of way, this is how I coach. I'm helping you access. I help you access the things. So I want to remind you of this. All of this that I'm talking about is embodiment work. It's learning to embody faith. It's learning to embody surrender. It's learning to embody a willingness, right? There's a way to embody willingness. Being willing is an open way of being. It's open, but it's not a pushover. It's being open and available, not being someone that's just going to be pulled around in any direction. You're open and available to your highest and best. And when you're open and available to your highest and best, that looks different. That looks different than just being, I'm open. Anything that comes my way, I'm going to be just, something's going to penetrate me. I'm going to be impressionable. I'm going to be pulled all the ways. No. Hi, Ellen. So, hi, Teresa. Thank you for letting me know. And Karen says choice keeps coming up. Came in 3 different forms today. So these signals and signs, I want to tell you that there is a podcast coming out this week. I think I already shared that goes deeper into this. I wouldn't say it's deeper. This is its own unique message, but it's in this kind of container of, you know, the umbrella of listening to the signs and signals and clearing your heart out, opening your heart. The other thing is you want to be willing to open your heart and let whatever happens in that come forth. And here's what I mean by that. If you live and just say you're willing to open your heart, it's going to unfold and there's going to be things that happen that you didn't expect. It's going to happen because you can't live on your timeline. You have to stay open to the divine timeline for your life. My timeline was to be successful at this insurance company so I could win these awards and all this thing that my ego wanted. Meanwhile, Spirit had a thing for me that I had to share my story. I had to open up and share all the things that I didn't like about myself, that I thought that were shameful, that were embarrassing, that actually were making me sick and eating me up inside. I never knew that sharing all of this would be the foundation of my work, let alone all of the people that I've met from all over the world that I've worked with and helped and that I've gotten to meet and that I've actually learned from, the friendships that are in my life, and building my business. My business is freaking thriving. I'm so grateful. But it didn't happen by listening to any one particular coach. I don't trust any other human's message or voice more than I trust these signals and signs. And it takes work doing that. It takes work and a willingness to be able to be in that space where you're like, I know I'm being guided. I'm open for support. I'm open for counsel, but I got to listen to where Spirit is taking me because it's one of a kind, just like my fingerprint. So I will share this, friends. I have a few things coming up. I have an Abundant Coach activation series, like a 5-day free training that's happening January 11th, 1/11. It's happening that whole week, right? So join me for that. It's totally free training. The other thing I want to let you know is we have a few things. My Miracle Vision Mastermind, which I actually have to share the link. I'm going to share it tomorrow. It hasn't been open to the public. I've only been sharing it with my private clients and, well, not my private clients in my private community, I should say. And we already have 4 spots of those taken. There's only 6 spots left. So it's a really special experience. And it's for a very committed, very willing kind of woman. The other thing is Miracle Worker Method. If you're a coach and you want to go beyond this basic kind of coaching, when I say basic coaching, mindset, like surface mindset, and even mindset, I love mindset work. It's absolutely key. You don't want the spiritual without the mindset. They work together. But there's a lot of surface stuff out there, and here's what I mean by that. Trying to just inspire, trying to just motivate. That's not transformation. That's not revolutionizing anyone's life. When you can take someone and help them go beyond the noise of their head and the stories that have been playing out here, the pictures that have been replaying, the movies of their past and the things that are going to happen or they think that are going to happen that are not serving them, and you can drop them into their body to begin to access this wisdom that I speak about, you will revolutionize people's lives. You will have repeat clients. You will change your life. You will change other people's life. And it becomes this really beautiful medicine that you get to share. And that's what I teach in my method. My method is, I would say, 1/3 of it or 1/4 of it, I would say a quarter of it is about business. And it's about rising into this ascended leadership, which is this kind of level of leadership, which is being a master. Masters lead with their heart, not with their heads. Experts lead with their heads. We are in a space of mastery now. And in the method, I really guide women to drop into a state of mastery, really owning their medicine, owning their gifts, and really acknowledging and accepting the call that they have on their soul to go forth and do this work with people. And I mean, at a come what may kind of energy. So there's that aspect of business. Then there's also building your aligned empire, what that looks like, how to show up and share, to collaborate, to grow your following, how to really share transformational messages and to be a transformational being versus just showing up with little cute things here and there. And people don't even know that you're in business. People don't even know that you're selling. So Karen, who joined, she says, that's your word. And you didn't probably even know that because I don't share that as much. But when we go into the method, I share it more. And then you have your coaching calls with me where you get to ask me about the course. You get to ask me about your business. But I'll tell you, this thing where we're posting these beautiful photos and cute little comments and things like that, this is not it anymore. I don't know if it was ever it, but it's definitely not it now. We are being called to guide people into a space of embodiment. We're not being called to be the gurus, the experts anymore. This is a space of learning how to understand that each one of us is the expert. We are our own guru. We are the masters. But we're looking for, the people that are really waking up now are looking for someone just to be that mirror, to be that guide, to be that voice, to hold your hand and guide you into those spaces, because you have treasures that you just have to access. That's what it's about. So, but in this method, I'll share this last thing. In the method, you go on the journey yourself. So this is not like this beautiful course where you get on and you're like, here's the 5 ways to do it. Memorize them and then go do it. No. This method will fundamentally change who you are if you go on the journey yourself. You take the different lessons, you take what works for you, you take what opens your heart up, you take what opens up your womb, your body, your belly, you take it, and then you take it into your work. You take it into your people, you give it out to your community. So that's something I want to offer you. Now, we only have 10 spots left for this because I only do 15 women, and here's why I only do 15 people. And I would say even men can join this one, but I only do 15 people in this course, and here's why. I want to be accessible to be able to answer your questions. I need to be able to give you feedback and support, and I need to make sure that you have time on the Zoom calls. And for me, the method, it's really important that if I'm sharing with you what I do with my private clients and the work that I have been giving out to my community and doing with my people, that you really get it and that you have time to ask me the things that you want to ask and to really get the support. So I make sure I do that because it's important to me. But that being said, there's only 10 spots left. And we start on the 18th. So my friends, if you're called, join us. We had someone join today and I'm really excited. So my friends, have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful night, sleep well. And the other thing you can ask in your dream time when you're going to sleep is you can ask for signals and signs even in your dream. You can call upon your angels, your guides. You can ask for your subconscious to let you know something. Use your dream time. And then sometimes you just want to sleep and you tell, like, no, I'm not unavailable for this. I'm unavailable for messages tonight. I need my rest. So you get to decide. You are more powerful than you probably have ever given yourself permission to be. And even me, I'm still learning more and more about my power. So my friends, go be powerful. Go enjoy your life and be a blessing to someone else. All right, friends. Bye.